Diablo 4 Season 5 news. I guess we can't ignore that, even though I'm not playing.
All right, so the campfire chat just happened. Tons of new info related to Season 5, 50 plus new, unique, and legendary items, changes to the way bosses work, changes to class balance, and they even disclosed what the new seasonal...
Oh boy, they're gonna buff Barbarian even more and nerf everything else. Sorcerers is having one good build is, I guess, too much. Okay, nice.
Mechanic is going to be all in today's video. They started by recapping about what already had come out, mentioned that the X-Pack launches on the 8th. Then they say that on the 25th, which is basically this Tuesday here, is when the PTR for Season 5, including the things we're about to talk about, will actually be accessible. This is a PTR for the PC on Battle.net only, specifically, just so you know. You can put feedback from the PTR in the forums. There will be a big patch notes after this live stream posted, which we will cover in a separate video because this is going to be another full breakdown.
Games dead, GG, no re in the forums, boys. Nice.
Now, there's a lot to talk about just from the campfire chat first. Okay, so let's
Wow.
get going. There will be boosts available just like there was in the previous PTR. However, the characters that you already have will be copied over to the PTR, so you don't even have to make new characters if you just want to use the character you already have. This is something new that they are doing this time.
That's relatively useful.
Now, this Season 5 is the last season until the X-Pack, so it will run all the way until October 8th, which is when Season 6 will actually start. When they started talking about Season 5, the first thing they mentioned was in-game. They say they want to expand the in-game. They want to add monster density and have stakes. They mentioned Return to Hell is sort
of... Monster density? But the only zone that people play is the Helltide. Huh.
of the theme, but that's not going to be the title of Season 5. And also, there are going to be over 50 new, unique, and legendary items. So it doesn't mean 50 new uniques and 50 new legendaries. It's 50 new...
Again, the Heraldric Cube is coming because they can do this. Again, what's the point of adding 50 uniques and legendaries? Because you need to remember this. Again, example, you're playing the Necromancer. How many item slots do you have? I think, I don't know, let's assume the average, every class has 12 item slots, right? Well, the Necromancer has at least -1, because there is literally no Necromancer build in existence that is ever not gonna use the auto-casting corpse skill ring. So that's a -1. Then you get something, like the Black River, and you must use that. Well, there are other builds, I guess. But you see, the point is, the more uniques they make, the more stuff they do in general, like this, the more completely busted things there are gonna be, like the Necromancer ring. And that's just -1 item slot that you can never exchange for anything, because it is the best by far.
Of both of them basically combined together.
No, seriously, is there a single Necromancer build that actually doesn't utilize the, ring? And, well, if there is the other build utilizing the other unique ring?
So it's not 100 total, it is over 50 total. Now, the big seasonal theme is the Inferno Hordes, and I'm going to show gameplay of it here while I am talking about it. Basically, this is a roguelite wave-based mode. You are effectively going to be going through waves, and at the end of each...
Oh, wow. This is what I said the game should have done that. I don't know, Season 2? I started talking about this, that this could be good. Because this is probably going to be at least fun.
Each wave, you're going to pick a new bonus. This is sort of like Vampire Survivors or Ultimatum or maybe Last Epoch Arena. This is a roguelite.
Burning Rain. At the end of each wave, spawn what is Ether. Oh, this actually looks good. I kind of like this. Huh.
Survivor.
Wait, wave 1 out of 5, that's it? That's lame.
Light, you can see their hellfire rains upon you, you pull enemies towards you, you get Aether Fiend, etc. So that is sort of the main seasonal...
But what is Ether? Is that like just, basic boring reward that currency? That's dumb.
Mechanic for this one. This comes with a new type of currency, which is called the Birthing Aether, and the Aether unlocks the spoils at the end of the run. Now, at the end of the run, there's going to be a variety of different chests that will give you different items. For instance, you can pick, I want one with only gold in it. I want one with a bunch of material mats, including the material mats that you get for master working. So this is a supplement to the pit. If you don't just want to run the pit, you can get
This looks so much better. And again, it took Blizzard only 15 years. Okay, maybe we are playing Season 5. We played roughly 7-ish hours of Season 4. And I think I did a good job. I tried really hard to enjoy the game, but I couldn't because it's shit. But Season 5, this at least looks fun.
Experience in this mode, so you could level up doing this mode if you want. And you can
That's perfect, because I hate Helltide. Helltide is just so damn stupid.
also target farm the new uniques and legendaries from it. So much like bosses.
And the irony of me saying Helltide is just so damn stupid is the fact that the Helltide is probably the best thing currently in the game. Yeah, that's not good, is it?
Have their own individual pool of loot. This mode will give you a way to access the new aspects and unique items as well in a target farm. You can also guarantee that you get an item with a greater affix at the end of this if you choose to use your spoils.
Dude, the lag in this video is actually honestly horrible. The hell is this? Blizzard running dry on the ka-ching. Developers can't even use normal things.
On that check.
But 5 waves sucks. Man, it should have been like 100 waves, and you know, every 5 waves there's a boss.
The bosses for the end of the waves are going to be straight out of Diablo 2. They are called the Fell Council. There is a variety. Let me just back up so you can see.
The hell is the Fell Council in Diablo 2?
There is 10 different versions of this fight because there are 5 different members, and you're going to fight 3 of them at the same time. That gives.
I don't remember any Fell Council. No, I do remember a name like that, but man, did we ever fight something like? I can't remember, and I have, I don't know, thousands of hours in Diablo 2 maybe at this point. I played it a lot as a kid also.
10 different variations. So that's effectively a new game mode that is coming to the game. Looked pretty cool. I think it looks like fun.
This is, look, this actually looks like a win. Wow.
Roguelite, something new to do, new currencies, new way to level, new items to farm, and that's pretty much the major.
But these things look boring.
Addition going into Season 5. They mentioned some of the unique items. We will break this down in the patch note videos, but there's going to be a large amount of new items. They talk about ones for Druid, the Petrify enemies. The Barb gets a new one. The Weapon Mastery becomes Corskios. That sounds busted. Necromancer gets one that makes like exploding corpse bombs, basically. There's a Salu.
Ooh, Necro Corpse Bombs. That's cool. Again, the fact that that there is no end game keystone or whatever you call them for Necros for corpse skills is just disgustingly stupid. Blizzard fix.
Fuse one that creates a totem which replicates damage, sort of like the Monk Bell, for instance, for Rogue. And then the Wizard gets a new one that makes where your Corskios fire Firebow, their Frostbow, their Spark, matching your last 2 non-core, dealing bonus damage. And then there's a new global one that's a pair of boots that does damage whenever you use a cooldown in like an AoE explosion. Looks like a good like a leveling pair of boots.
Ooh, interesting, I guess. I mean, this is better than nothing, so yeah. A pair of boots like that is probably absolutely good on Druid.
Instance. Now, unique items and mythic items in class updates. Quality of life. You can now target farm unique items from Oboe vendors, Helltide chests, and Whisper caches. That means both Uber uniques as well as normal uniques can drop from these. Now, this might make you wonder, like...
Again, Wizards, just... Not Wizards, but they're both shitty companies anyway. Blizzard, just give up. I'll make Uber Uniques not Uber Unique anymore. People who want them already can farm them super easily because typically they need one of them. And then they kind of call it a day. Okay, maybe you need 2 because Shaco's OP, obviously. You know, people can farm that relatively easy. Like, come on, Blizzard, just give everyone a Uber Unique at the start of the game, or all of them at the start of the game. There's literally no point in not doing it anymore, because Uber Uniques have completely lost all the uniqueness about them. Anyone who can't farm an Uber Unique, don't even try and tell me that that's hard, considering all you need to do is farm Duriel for a little bit and kill all the bosses. It's just stop.
The glitch back in the day where, okay, Wizard didn't have a unique helmet, so when you pulled a guaranteed unique helmet out of the Helltide chest, for instance, it would be an uber unique. Well, they thought of that, so if you're trying to pick a chest that doesn't have a unique item for that slot of that class you're playing, it's going to give you a random unique is the way that's going to work. They say there's tons of updates to the items for unique items coming because they want it to be a powerful, exciting item that
Okay, this actually is so much more exciting than Season 4 for me. Because, again, this is literally what I wanted and said that Blizzard should implement from, I think, like Season 2. Something like this, an event like this. Because all the events actually have one problem in them. It's the fact that they're slow. And you don't want to do them. But this looks fine. This looks nice. I like it. Dude, I'm actually gonna play Season 5. I really thought I'm never gonna log in after Season 4, but I think we can get a solid 3 hours of gameplay in Season 5, boys. What a time to be alive. But yeah, Diablo is kind of dead. As I said from Season 4, it's just kill. Yeah, people we asked obviously to fix the itemization, but no one asked you to make it easier. And now the game's just like, arrow point up, I guess I'm gonna use that.
They want to be easy to evaluate and use, and they want to be
Wait, what? The items got more easier?
They say there's tons of updates to the items for unique items coming because they want it to be a powerful, exciting item to direct players to build around it. They want to be easy to evaluate and use, and they want to be rarer chase.
Oh, great! Dude, what? Man, for what kind of brainlets was this game made at this point? The items already literally only have here's 4 mods with damage on it, and here's one with life or armor on it. Have fun. Dude, what is this? How can you even simplify that? Is every items gonna just have 5 affixes on them, and you know all of those affixes are gonna be, this is plus 20% more damage, and you know the other 3 affixes are going to be literally the same. It's just going to say plus 20% more damage. How can you get even more simple with these items? How?
Items. So effectively, uniques are getting an update. We'll talk about that here in just a moment. They want players to build around the unique items, but they want you to build your own legendaries. So effectively, you get a legendary, you build it out to what you want it to be, but when you get the unique item, you're doing your build around it. That's something they mentioned, and they also want to move.
That's a good idea, but I don't know if they can.
Away from generic fit all uniques that are not uber uniques, because people are calling out in the chat saying, but what about Shaco? It's a generic use all. They say specifically non-uber, or they call them mythic now, non-mythic uniques. They want to be able to be non-generic. They want them to be niche use, basically, for individual builds.
What's gonna end up happening with that, they're gonna implement this, and you know, being Blizzard, they're gonna completely mess up the balancing, and it's gonna be, oh, congratulations, here's the barbarian with its only way to play the game. Everything else feels just 50 times weaker. Are you having fun yet?
2 big updates associated with this are increasing the upper power ranges of uniques and the stat affixes. They're going to add some stat affixes that are effectively like tempering stats. So for instance, they use the example of like additional projectiles is something that is very common on weapons, for instance. So if you use a unique, you would lose that. So they're like, well, you're not going to be able to temper uniques, but we'll add the stats that would be the tempering directly onto that unique itself as a stat affix. So expect a large...
That's actually good, honestly. Huh. Well, this is the most positive I have ever been about anything Diablo 4 since its release. Man, remember the old days when Diablo 4 was not out yet, and it looked good, and I was super excited. I was like, "Yay, Diablo 4! This looks great! It's gonna be amazing! I can't wait!" And then it came out. And then it came out. Yeah, it was sad. And it's still sad.
Large amount of changes related to the uniques we have, as well as the uniques that are going to be added into the game around adding some of those affixes that are so important. Speaking of unique items, mythic items are now actually purple with a really cool beam. Here's an example
Wow.
of what it looks like. So now it is much more obvious when you get one. You won't miss it. They
Wow.
talk a bit about class updates multiple times through this campfire chat. They say that invulnerability skills are now going to start with their cooldown afterwards. So this way it doesn't pigeonhole them into builds later on into the future, aka rip the Immortal Sorceress, for instance. They're reducing monster CC, and you can actually use potions while CC'd now. So that's a pretty big
I can't believe it took them so long. I never complain about this, but this is obviously a completely stupid thing to
change
have.
across the board. Now, when you're talking class updates, you're probably thinking about Barb OP. They basically said, we hear you. We know Druid and Sorks need some changes.
Dude, this is such a blatant lie. What did they hear, okay? Everyone's complaining Barb is overpowered. Well, I guess we're just gonna nerf the sorceress a little bit more and buff the barbarian a little bit more in that case. Wait, what do you mean? Sorceresses are trash and barbarians are OP. Ah, well, yeah, we're gonna keep those old changes, but now we're just gonna add more buffs to barbarian, and it's gonna be great. Dude.
Nothing major to announce right now, but the way they're going to be doing this going into the future is effectively using the mechanics of each of these individual classes. For instance, like Spirit Boons from Druid, the enchantments from Sorcerer. They're going to be using that as a way to try to buff the mechanic that they actually get. The way, Barb's mechanic is they get 4 weapons, so they're trying.
Wait, so you're telling me sorceresses enchantments finally are not gonna be extreme niche build shit? Whoa! Man! Wow, tell me more.
Find ways to actually match this. In the short term, it's just going to be standard buffs. We're actually going to talk about Druid here in just a moment because they do talk about class balance some more further on down. They did show some of the new unique items. I'm not going to go through all of these, but basically Barbarian gets one for Steel Grasp and Maelstrom. They also show that Rogue gets a Flurry update, vulnerable plus more damage, improved dashing, which actually does more damage as well as cost reduction. Druids get a major change where Shepherds now changes to companion DPS. So your core and wrath skills don't get bonus anymore. And they said they're going to give lots of Druid buffs to compensate, but those haven't been published now. We're just waiting on the patch notes to actually see if that is true. So as it stands, Druids actually caught a nerf during the campfire chat, which is literally hilarious. Sorcerer got a new really cool Chain Lightning unique, and the Necros AI for Golem now makes it where it actually jumps and smashes, so a little bit better of the AI. These are just some random
Oh, jumping golem is actually good. Wow.
class changes that they talked about all sort of at the same time. They went to talk about quality of life, which is actually fairly significant. Whispers are going to be way faster, 15 minutes to get a full whisper, and whispers also, as a reminder, can target farm uniques as well as
What's the point of target farming uniques at this point? I don't understand this obsession with target farming because you do everything at the same time anyway in this game, so the idea of target farming kind of becomes redundant and irrelevant.
Mythic uniques as well now, so just keep that in mind. The Beast in the Ice now just has a normal dungeon that you can go to. Varshan only uses one body part instead of needing like 4 different ones, and you can resummon them without having to leave. So now you can just click on the button, summon them, kill Durio,
Cool.
summon them again, kill Durio. You're not going to have to run out of Uber Durio 15 times and
That helps. That's actually very good.
reset it. You can just spam this. This is probably
Not that I would ever be caught dead actually farming any of that garbage, but that's good. Wow. This is actually the best season I have heard so far. It doesn't even... If we ignore the fact that the game is still completely not to my liking because it has been simplified to the level that a toddler is supposed to play this dumpster fire. I mean, I like this. Ironically, I'm actually kind of excited for playing this for 2-3 hours maybe in season 5. Wow, very cool, very cool. Now, honestly, I think I could be able to play this for, I don't know, maybe 20 hours total, over 5 weeks or something. If Blizzard just finally did the thing that I have been screaming nonstop about since goddamn season 1, and that is make all the base skills actually playable, okay? Because there's literally base skills that only become slightly almost playable when you find an affix for them. Only then. And that's obviously complete trash because there are already base skills that are playable and usable from the very start, and they don't require an affix. So instead of an affix that makes them usable, you can use an affix that actually makes them more powerful in general, or you in general more powerful, or something like that. So it's not even a competition. I look back at Diablo 3, and I'm honestly now shocked that, for example, Demon Hunter had... Was it called multi-shot? I don't remember what it was called. But, you know, it was the effective Amazon multi-shot from Diablo 2, only it wasn't a projectile, it was actually a cone AoE that just instantaneously hit stuff. That thing sprayed all of the screen, boys. It was so good to use. And yet, here in Diablo 4, we have, you know, rogues with effectively multi-shot, yet it's like, oh, nothing, and they shoot like 3 arrows or something like that, and then there's like a 50% chance that it's gonna ricochet off or something like that with an affix. It's just so painfully stupid. It's just, dude, just make all of the baseline skills usable. Make them all good, Blizzard. And the game would actually become so much more enjoyable, because then you could play with actually anything that you feel like, not just the random skills that can one-shot things because they actually have AoE inbuilt into them. It's just so dumb how they still haven't even fixed that.
The one that made people spam W the most in the chat. People seem to really like that one. They reduced the amount of baneful hearts that are dropping, and then they actually, this was a conversation I'd had with a blind gentleman, shout out to TJ, about accessibility. And they, in the blind community, one of the major things that they actually ask for is navigation features.
Listen, let's not pretend that the blind community actually exists. It's probably like 2 guys. I'm sorry, but you're literally probably 2 or 3 people playing this. I don't want to sound like a dick here, but you, dude, okay, listen, you're blind. You shouldn't be playing computer games, probably, okay? So you shouldn't be demanding that Blizzard makes them accessible to blind people. I mean, it's nice that you can play it, and that's kind of awesome, honestly, but still, the fact that this is even a discussion point is crazy woke.
So they are adding more navigation features as well as more audio features for that community, that there's a significant amount of players that are vision impaired that are playing Diablo 4 as well. So shout out to them. I'm sure they're actually pretty stoked about that, to be honest. And then moving forward here, tempering changes. They want an endpoint. Okay, they understand that right now RNG is also 100% non-players' hands. They don't like that. They're looking for more ways to control RNG, but for what they're going to do for now for Season 5 is per greater affix, you get 1 more temper. So if you have 2 greater affix on a legendary item, now it goes, you get +2 more tempers. If you have 4 on...
I don't even remember what that actually means. Any longer, I'm not gonna lie, I don't even remember. I spent so little time, obviously, actually crafting.
You know, something, then, or 3 on something, then you get, you know, 3 more. That's basically the way that they're going to be handling tempers going forward. And then new weapons for classes are usable. Let's actually show this, because this is quite an important point. Okay, so this is a pretty big change.
Okay, instantaneously wands. Vulnerable damage, nope. Crit okay. Wands, sights, minion damage, that's not
in relation
useful. Close damage targets. Okay, that's still the same. Pole arms. No one cares. Offhands. A lucky hit. Okay. Wait, wasn't Wands previously? Yeah, Wands was previously lucky hit. Now it's vulnerable damage, and offhand is lucky hit. What was the offhand previously? I don't remember.
2 weapons.
Oh, I think the offhand. No, the offhand wasn't. Well, I don't remember what was the offhand.
Axes, for instance, now do dot damage. You can see here exactly how these new items work, and the X corresponds to what that individual weapon actually does in terms.
Sight having, by the way, life on kill was so annoying.
In terms of their bonus stats, you might.
It was literally the worst thing ever.
Be looking at this and being like, well, this changes a lot about my build or my characters. Well, what they did is they actually changed classes' abilities to use weapons. So for instance, druids can now also use 2-handed polearms, 1-handed swords and daggers. Sorcerers can now use 1-handed swords and maces. Necromancers gets all swords and all axes in addition.
The fact that also the weapon classes were limited didn't make sense in my opinion. Now it does actually make sense, but it doesn't make sense in the sense that, oh, let's be real, they were gonna change it at some point. But yeah.
Now, pretty much.
Also, wait, does this mean that you have access to new usable uniques? I think this does.
In addition. Now, pretty much almost everything mentioned here in this video will be playable on Tuesday, including the new seasonal mechanic, being able to check.
Thank you, DM. It's been a while. I have been missing you, my sweet summer child. Anyway, that was Skittles, and I have to say, even though Diablo 4 is, after Season 4, it's never going to be a game that I truly enjoy. I mean, this is going to get me to play it. This is going to actually get me to play Season 5 for at least 3 hours, probably. This is actually going to work, and that's crazy. That's good. That's nice. That's nice. Because, again, I had absolutely no plans to log into Season 5 at all. But this changed everything. If this wasn't here, yeah, none of these changes would have actually made me want to do anything. Again, I don't like the fact that, you know, now it's just, oh, you're level 1, go to the Hilltide. Yeah, no, that's not fun, thank you, Blizzard. But I'll rather just not. Anyway, this was Quizzer Said 7. Bye.